Hey guys, welcome back to World of Tanks. My name is Bruce and today I want to feature a tank which is easy to play but difficult to master. So I will give you tips and tricks to help you master this tank. If you're interested in more reviews and gameplay, go to YouTube and search for World of Tanks with Bruce to get all of my videos, or click on the subscribe button. And now let's go. So today we want to take a look at the Rheinmetall Skorpion, the Tier 8 German premium tank destroyer. This tank has a strange combination for TD. It features no armor whatsoever, it has an high alpha gun, a fully rotatable turret, and it is quite mobile. All in all, not really a typical tank destroyer. Maybe this is why it is tough to master, at least for some players. So in this video I want to tell you everything you need to know in order to master this tank. The first advantage of the Skorpion is its powerful gun. This gun packs 490 alpha damage and has 246 millimeters of penetration on its standard ammunition and 311 millimeters on its premium ammunition. It features a DPM of 2400, which is pretty nice for a tank destroyer, and so with this tank you are able to quickly build up damage. So in only half a minute we now made 1300 damage, and as long as the opposing forces are advancing, we can simply shred one by one and build up damage in a very short period of time. Another advantage of this tank is its insane sniping capabilities. So hitting your opponents over long distance is not a problem at all in this tank. This tank, as I said, features a very decent base penetration of 0.29er, and as long as you fully aim in, there's no problem whatsoever of hitting adversary tanks over long distances. And finally, this tank offers a great mobility, so you can hit your adversary tank and then use your 60 kph top speed alongside with your 22.23 power to weight ratio, a value which would even be decent for a medium tank, and simply relocate so that you are not stuck at a flank but can set up a defensive position and basically hold up an enemy push. So we took a shot from the middle and now we relocate using our great top speed, setting up ourselves into another position from where we can surprise the adversary tanks. Therefore we knock down this tree, and this gives us the possibility of okay, we're now spotted, so we need to fall back, wait 10 seconds until we're not spotted anymore, and then we will be able to set up a defensive trap for the adversary advancing tanks, and voila, we can make another shot. Bam, another nice 476 damage. And now once again we can use our 60 kph top speed in order to relocate and then still be in the game without losing any HP, even though the flank is falling. But we will set up a defensive posture and be ready to take on the next fight. Now, before we come to some gameplay, let me quickly show you how I play this tank. So my tank crew, which is the Gorilla 15 crew, does have brothers in arms. It has the gun handling skills, and then my commander also has the view range skills, so recon, and is now working on mentor. Of course you can choose something differently, but I wanted to quickly train the rest of my crew. So you could also go for concealment or repairs, for example, or maybe also for intuition or adrenaline rush. Maybe intuition is the one that you want to take. Now the other crew members, as you can see, are currently working on concealment. The concealment value of this tank is pretty crappy anyway, but in my opinion it makes sense. And then the radio operator also has the view range skill, which is situational awareness. Now I play this tank with the gun rammer because I think it makes sense to boost the fantastic firepower of this tank. I play this tank with coated optics. Keep in mind, I do not play my tanks with premium consumables whatsoever, and so I want to boost the view range of this tank because I like to play this tank as a as a medium tank destroyer hybrid. And furthermore, I play the tank with improved rotation mechanism because as it does not have a as it has an open turret, you cannot use ventilation. So this is how I play the tank, and my playstyle is, as I said, a tank destroyer medium hybrid. And let's now see what this means with some gameplay. Okay, first game in the Skorpion. We are spawning on Murugan, and let's first of all take a look at the map and see what options we have in mobile TD. Spawning on Murugan in the north, with a tank destroyer like the Skorpion, you have tons of options. First of all, you can try to support your heavies on the 1 and 2 lane with the defensive position somewhere like so, because there's some bushes here on elevated positions. The second option is to go to the 8-9-0 lane and play first of all defensively. This is an option. You can go to this position and basically try to counter enemy light tanks which are playing right here in this position, or you can basically, with a fully rotatable turret, also join your medium tanks and go aggressively to this position, depending on whether you are low tier or top tier. So my preferred option is this one, because from here I can basically see how the game is developing and then decide whether to fall back for a more defensive play or basically join my teammates to play more aggressively. Alright, so many people play this tank as a pure redline sniper just because it is a tank destroyer. Now, I do not agree with this playstyle. In fact, I play this tank much more aggressively and much more like a medium tank. Why? Well, because this tank has a fully rotatable turret and it has an insane mobility, as you can see and as I already described. So I play this tank, as I said, much more aggressively, and furthermore, if I get on a flank which is basically won by the adversary tanks, then I can relocate because this tank, as I said, has a fantastic top speed and a fantastic mobility. So we are going to this position as we described in the little video, and from here you have the advantage of being hidden behind those bushes and those trees, so you will not get spotted once you shoot or once you take a shot. And so the only thing we want to do is we want to basically add fire support to the fight as soon as our light tanks, which are aggressively spotting, at least the one light tank in our team, the Senlak, when he is spotting the adversary tanks. So I would actually go to this position in basically all other tank destroyers as well, and maybe even in medium tanks or sometimes even in heavy tanks if they don't have too much armor. But our team is pushing forward aggressively, and this gives us the chance to further advance on the battlefield. As you can see, the Skorpion G tank driver has the same opinion about this tank, and he also pushes forward in order to make damage. Okay, so those tanks are spotted. Now, in a tank destroyer like this, you always want to fully aim in your shots. Don't blame the tank for not hitting the target if you don't give the tank the full time that it needs to fully aim in the shot. The base dispersion is fantastic with 0.29er, however you have to fully aim in your shots, otherwise you will not hit. This is just how the game is designed, and obviously the higher the alpha of the gun, then the less of a snapshot capability the tank actually has. So always fully aim in your shots. And can we take this pixel shot? Okay, I do not want to bounce on the turret, and so I do not take the shot. So let's see. We already made 1300 damage, which is nice. Yep, we do not hit this shot. And so let's see. Okay, maybe in the middle. Now the turret traverse speed is actually very poor. Another balancing feature of this tank. Plus, of course, this tank does not have any armor, so you cannot brawl with this tank, but you have to either conduct sniping, or you have to basically use your mobility and play a bit like a medium tank. Let's say a paper thin armor medium tank, That's, in my opinion, the playstyle of this tank. Okay, so let's wait a little bit. It's only 2 to 4 right now. And looks like our team is now losing this side of the map. So I think sooner or later we have to retreat. Let's see whether we can get a shot onto the middle. No, I don't think so. So, okay, yeah. So, you know what? Let's relocate to a defensive position from which we can give the Italian Tier 7 tank destroyer a little bit of fire support. And once again, we are using the fantastic mobility in order to actually relocate. So if you're playing in a tank which has a good mobility, then you have to make use of this strength. Because that's what the tank is designed for, and that's how you can exploit the strength of the tank. So let me see. Most likely the adversary tank will advance simply because he thinks that the Italian tank destroyer is the only tank on this flank, and that's actually what he did, and we could take out this tank. Now, nonetheless, I think it's not time to advance on this flank. Okay, there's another tank, so we will simply... Yeah, so this tank is now taken out, and you know what? I reverse into the bush because I want to give one more shot onto the adversary tank, and then my game plan is to relocate, but okay, here you go. Okay, yeah, I took the decision to relocate simply because I had a double bush scenario here, and so I think I would not have spotted the other tank. Unfortunately, this one tank actually got spotted, so yeah, but that's how it is. Okay, so once again, we are using the mobility of this tank in order to relocate into the next defensive position, and that is an advantage. An advantage that you can actually do or exploit in such a mobile tank. You can fall from one defensive position to another, and so you can set up a defensive line against your opponents and against your adversaries, and give them a hard time to advance, simply because you have the mobility to do so. If you play a tank like the Tortoise, for example, or let's say a heavily armored heavy tank, then your mobility most often is lackluster, and this basically denies the opportunity to fall back into different defensive positions. But the Skorpion, as I said, does have this mobility, and so you should make use of that. And obviously, as now our team is advancing, we might also want to basically advance once again. So let's see. Okay, here another tank is spotted. Nice. There are multiple bushes between him and us, so we will not get spotted, even though we do not apply the bush mechanics in this situation. But you know what? Our Japanese tank destroyer is still full HP, so we can try to help him and push out this adversary Vipera. And the Senlak is going to circle him. Nice. And so we want to use the mobility in order to close in as soon as possible and to once again add fire support to our team. Notice that I never play this tank in the first line simply because it does not have any armor whatsoever, and so I always want to help my teammates and want to add fire support to the fight so that I can enhance the firepower of my teammates. That's the goal, and that's what I'm aiming for in my playstyle in the Skorpion. Alright, so now it's 10 to 10, so the game is very close, but now there's the time to finally get map control and to move in to the middle and to maybe spot one or another tank. After all, what you also should keep in mind is this tank does not have any armor whatsoever, and if you get shot, you will most likely lose crew members or a module. Having that said, you still can offer your 1100 HP, sorry, 1150 HP to the fight at the end of the game and simply trade 1 for 1. Maybe not against an autoloader, so that you don't trade 1 for 1 against 1 for 4. But To avoid this, we will simply hide behind the house here and hope for our Japanese Hori to catch up, so that we here go bam. Okay, and I mean, with 490 alpha damage, obviously you can trade 1 for 1, and I think the SHPTK player knows about his superior DPMs, but you know what? There's also the G-Saw, and I do not want to get a shot by the SHPTK plus another shot by the G-Saw. And I also do not want to get tracked. After all, I've now lost my repair kit, and it takes me about 40 seconds so that I can use it again. And so I'm waiting for the fire support. Here go. So now he's moving out of cover, and this gives me the chance to take him out. Excellent. Okay, perfect. So 3,400 damage and 1,200 assisting damage. A nice game, but it is still not won yet. So let's see what we can do. Maybe we can try and flank around into a defensive position, out of which the G-Saw is unable to shoot at us, and maybe we can support our team, which is pushing on the 1 lane. Let's see. And you know what? I think here you go, and let's fully aim in. Bam. Okay, he takes a shot, which is not a problem at all, because at this stage of the game we want to simply take out enemy tanks so that the game is certainly won by our team. Alright, so let's see how it goes. Oh, by the way, one thing I should mention is, due to the high alpha damage in this tank, chances are relatively high that you will be the one finishing off adversary tanks, because no matter if they have low HP or if they still have quite some HP, for your tank it's actually then the adversary tank is then actually a one-shot or one-shottable, compared to most other tanks on the battlefield. Okay, so 13 to 10. Now we do have an advantage, and let's see whether we can get one more shot onto the adversary tanks. But now obviously we are also down to being one-shottable, and now it's time for the other tanks to advance, especially the Skoda T56, which is a heavily armored heavy tank, and so it's not our time to move out of cover, but instead we simply want to, can we get a shot onto this tank? We simply want to make a bit more damage. Okay, so there are 2 tanks in the game, and let's see how it goes. So I think we will also advance and try to kill the Skorpion G. And by the way, for all of you out there who are new to World of Tanks, the Skorpion and the Skorpion G are basically the same tank, the exact same tank. It's only that the Skorpion G has a camouflage adjusted to it, which you cannot remove, and the Skorpion is simply the, let's say, the basic tank onto which you can put camouflage skins and other shenanigans. Okay, so let's see, let's go into this position and let's see whether we can get a shot onto the Skorpion G once he gets spotted, hopefully by the Skoda T56. So the game is relatively close, and right now, due to the fact that the G-Saw is an autoloader tank, the game is actually not won yet. Plus the Skoda T56 has also lost, let's say, 2/3 of its HP, at least half of its HP. And so let's see whether we can win this game. And I think it is now time to support our heavy tanks, and I'm telling them that I will go via the middle, because if I decept the enemy tanks, then our heavy tanks will be able to finish them off, and also vice versa. If they entangle those tanks into a fight, then I will hopefully be able to finish them off. Here we go, there's one tank. G-Saw is taken out, excellent, and now it's time to rush in and to get simply one additional shot. So I'm now loading HE, and with HE I can actually make 630 damage with only one shot. Hopefully the Skorpion G is still full HP. because I would like to take a shot into his turret, and the turret is, there's actually no armor whatsoever, so as long as you do not hit the gun, you will penetrate and make this huge amount of damage. Okay, so looks like the Skorpion G actually relocated, and I think now with only 1 minute and 34 seconds remaining, it is time to not hunt down the adversary Skorpion G, but simply to go into the cap and secure the victory. So I'm telling the T-103, dude, go to the base and cap, because that's what we need to do right now. The Skorpion G has the mobility to hide so long that we will lose, or that it will be a draw at the end of the game. And as long as we go into the cap, we will be able to win the game, because we are 3 tanks versus only 1 tank. And the Skorpion G, if he takes a shot, he will most likely get spotted, and even if he doesn't get spotted, then chances are that we will be able to use the time to cap this game. So let's see how it goes. The T-103 moves into the bush, which is completely understandable, but now I do not want to do the same, but instead I want to go into to simply another position, so that he cannot take us out both with, because we are at the same position. Okay, only 3 seconds and the game is won. Actually, I do not know where the Skorpion G went, but all in all, I think this game really showed one strength in particular of this tank, and that is the awesome mobility. Alright, second game. This time we are spawning on Abbey, once again in a tier 8 matchup. And let's first of all take a look at the map and see what options we have. Spawning on Abbey in the north with the Skorpion, this is how the game usually develops, and once again with the Skorpion you have multiple options. One is to play defensively in a tank destroyer sniper position right here, however in my opinion this is too defensive. Now you can go to the 8 and 9 lane and try to support your team by such a position. With the mobility of the Skorpion you could also advance to the medium position right here and try to win this position. You can also go to the heavy lane and try to brawl, basically conducting second line gameplay. But my preferred option is to basically play this tank more aggressively, so I like to set up a trap here, so doing kind of the medium tank job, and then basically see what is going on and where my help is needed, and then be flexible and change to either side of the map. Alright, so in this game I want to show you how you can play this tank more as a medium tank, i.e. much more aggressively compared to a pure tank destroyer. So take a look at what the other tank destroyers are doing. For example, the T-103, which is simply going into the standard TD position, but also the Su-130 PM, which also has at least a partially rotatable turret, and this player also chooses to go into a kind of standard sniping tank destroyer position. Now I want to use the mobility in order to set up a trap for the adversary tanks, because if they are pushing the middle, then I can take a shot onto those tanks. And I preloaded HE. Here we go, and bam, 591 damage. Actually a low roll, but the game is certainly over now for the Rust, even at the beginning of the game. Excellent. Okay, nice. Unfortunately I took a shot from the adversary SHPTK in the enemy base. Okay, fine. Let's see, can we get another shot? No, we cannot. Okay, so our team has secured the middle, which is important because it gives us an advantage on this very small map. And so the question is now, what else can we do? So let's see, can we get a shot onto the... maybe... okay, looks like our heavy flank is in a disadvantageous position simply because most of our tanks went to the 8 and 9 lane. That's just how it is, and oh, yeah, that was very unfortunate. I should have aimed a little bit, a tiny touch longer, That's just how it is. And once again, I should remind myself of the fact that you should always try to fully aim in your tank. Okay, I'm spotted now, so I do need to move back into cover because I do not want to lose more HP in this situation. Okay. Yeah, as I forecasted, the adversary heavy tanks are about to win the heavy flank. And you know what? With this tank, with the Skorpion G, it's all about using your mobility, adding firepower to your team, which has right now not worked out too well. Here we go, next shot, nice. But I think if they actually manage to push out the Skoda T56 and the TS54, we can basically set up a defensive position and a trap for the adversary advancing tanks. And that's finally what you should do in a tank destroyer. And once again, the good thing about the Skorpion is its insane mobility, so you can give yourself enough time to analyze the minimap, and you do not need to make a very quick decision simply because you can rely on your fast speed in order to sooner or later fall back into a defensive position. So I'm telling now the team that I will help them out. Now the bad thing about this situation is that we are actually not losing this heavy flank, and so we need to aggressively move forward and make sure that we get some additional damage. Okay, go. Yeah, please advance, and bam, nice. At least one shot. Take one shot in return, but that's all right because after all we can trade positively with our 490 alpha damage. And here you go, maybe one more shot. This tank, by the way, has 7 degrees of gun depression, which is alright, not the best value, but certainly not the worst value either. However, it only has 14 degrees of gun elevation, and that can, from time to time, be a problem. That's just how it is. Okay, yeah, so now, you know what, we will simply move in and make more damage. Here you go, another 540, excellent, and now we will hide behind this rack of the TS, what is it, the TS5, and now fall down. Unfortunately, our ammo rack is now lost, but with the, okay, let's move out like so. Let's see whether we can get one more additional shot onto the AMX. Here you go. No. Maybe if he moves out of cover. Okay. And our team is about to cap, so let's see. And okay. Okay. Yeah, in the end we made a bit more than 2000 damage, and I want to showcase this video because it showed the options that you have, and one of those options, which is actually valid if you ask me, is to play this tank as a medium tank and to not simply remain at the rear of the map and conduct sniping, but to play more aggressively and more forward on the map in order to support your team. Alright. Third and last game. This time we're spawning on Cliff, once again in the north, and let's first of all take a look at the map and see what options we have. Spawning on Cliff in the north with the Skorpion, you have multiple options. You can play defensively on a typical TD position, but once again, in my opinion, this is too passively for this tank. You can try to support your heavy tanks on this side of the map. But once again, in my opinion, this gameplay is too defensively and also too static. And then you can also try to play this tank more as a medium tank, maybe go to the middle to help your team win maybe the donut or the middle, or even flank around and help your team to win the 9 lane. Alright, so as we're playing in a tank destroyer, we could go to the A5 position, to the typical sniping position. But if you know me, and I think I brought my point across, like basically how I want to play this tank, or how I think it is beneficial to play this tank. I want to play this tank more as a medium tank destroyer hybrid and move forward and basically help my team to win the middle of the map, which is, in my opinion, the strategic position on this map. So I want to move forward, and as you can see, I'm arriving in the position as the second tank due to the fantastic mobility and top speed of this tank, and this gives me the option of setting up a first spot and also some first damage. Here we go, 455, and we even spot a couple of tanks, and thus giving our team good information about the team composition of the enemy team. So can I get one more shot? And you know what, I do not want to get too greedy. Yep, we are already spotted, so it's time to fall back. And okay, the T832 already tells us to fall back, maybe because he wants to play hull down in this position, but I want to move forward. There you go, bam, another nice 464 shot. Okay, please do not push me. Yep, I know you want to play in this position, but please don't do this. Okay. Okay, yep, and he's eating damage. Okay. Can we get a shot? Bam. Another excellent shot. Nice. 424 damage. Once again, in this tank, you can build up damage so quickly due to the precise gun with 490 alpha damage plus a very decent DPM. Okay, so let's see, can we get one more shot onto... No, he's already falling back behind the hill, and let's see how it goes. So we have lost the donut, which makes the gameplay a bit more difficult, but maybe this tank will peek out the Lorraine 40T, and then we will be ready to take a shot onto this tank. Let's see how it goes. And yeah, if you take a look at the minimap, you see that the Charity and the AMX CDA 105 are camping at the typical TD position, but the problem is that there's no tank they can shoot at, and so they simply lose time without doing anything. Now, in my opinion, it is about time to support the E75TS, because as the adversary team has won the donut, we are kind of exposed to the E3 position, and so instead I think we can simply move towards the E75TS and maybe set up some crossfire onto the middle where the 53TP and the MX65T are located. So that is our plan, and we'll see how it goes. Now, I always drive to this position at the very outside of this 9 lane, simply to avoid of being spotted from a tank which might be a little bit more to the east of the AMX 65T. Okay, can we get a shot onto him? Maybe a polar shot. Let's see. Okay, he's hiding because he already knows that the E75TS is in this position. Maybe. There you go. Bam. Excellent. Okay, so he's now taken out. Excellent. And question is, can we get some more shots onto the 53TP? Now our team has managed to basically secure the donut in form of the AMX65T, which is great, and this gives us the chance of maybe getting more damage. There you go. Okay, let's see, let's fully aim in, and bam, nice. So yeah, I have to say I do like this tank, and I think it is a very great tank destroyer. So all in all, should you buy this tank? Well, if you have the chance, yes, in my opinion, do so. This tank is a great credit maker, because you can build up damage so quickly in this tank. You can play this tank as a pure sniper and go to, yeah, if you like TD gameplay, then this tank is for you. But you can also play this tank if you like to play medium tanks, because you can play this tank as a medium TD hybrid. And so this tank is very versatile, and so I can really recommend this tank. It is a very old tank, but nonetheless, up to this day, it is a pretty decent tank, if you ask me. Now I'm taking a blind shot onto the typical TD position, and Now I am falling back into cover, so not to get hit by adversary artillery. And I think about now it is time to make an aggressive move, because in this situation, if we come to the assessment that the game is won, that we want to be the tank arriving first at the adversary position, so that we get all the lovely assisting damage of spotting, or after spotting the adversary tanks. Now, unfortunately, the T-832 has already taken our job and has moved into the, there you go, into the enemy tank's position. And you know what? Okay, he's paying for this, but now, you know what? It's now finally time for us to basically move out of cover. Now, compared to the T-832, we have the speed, which gives us the option of actually advancing towards the adversary positions. Yep, that's where the tank might be located. And you know what? Okay, he's falling back into cover, so we don't even receive a shot. Nice. And you know what? Let's take a shot onto this tank. Let's fully aim in. We're spotted, which is fine, and we'll make an additional 410 alpha damage. So actually a low roll, quite a significant low roll, but that's how it is. Okay, now we get a shot by the enemy UDAS, which is fine. And now, you know what, let's relocate so not to take damage. Okay, take another shot. Okay, yeah, but we get the sweet assisting damage, which is nice. And you know what, bam, let's take a shot onto the Löwe. Nice. And we already made close to 5k damage combined. Another great result in the Skorpion. And yep, let's take another shot, maybe onto the, here you go, here you go. Nice. I think this was a hit. So beyond 5k damage combined. And another excellent result in the Skorpion. Oh, here you go. There's another tank. Let's repair, and bam. So yeah, nice. 4k damage, 1.5k combined. Another excellent result in the Skorpion. And once again, I can really recommend this tank. Even today, this tank is very strong. If you ask me, you have to fully aim in your shots. But besides this tank is super versatile, and certainly a recommendation by my side. Alright guys, that was it for today with the video about the Rheinmetall Skorpion. How do you like this tank? Do you like to play mobile glass cannon TDs? Just leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Consider subscribing to my channel, and I see you next time in another World of Tanks video.